Time. It's the one thing we all live inside but can never quite hold. We race against it. We try to save it. And we constantly ask, where does it go? But have you ever stopped to wonder, why does time move forward? Why not backward? Or sideways? Is this just how reality works? Or is it all in our heads? Let's explore one of philosophy's deepest and most puzzling questions, the arrow of time. To start, what is time? For centuries, philosophers have debated whether time is something real, like a river flowing independently of us, or just a mental tool we use to organize experience. St. Augustine once said, "What is time? If no one asks me, I know. If I want to explain it, I don't." And even today, that confusion remains. Philosophers have two main views about the nature of time. One is presentism, the idea that only the present is real. The past is gone. The future hasn't happened yet. The second is eternalism, which says all moments in time exist equally. Past, present, and future are like frames in a film reel. If eternalism is right, then time doesn't really move. We just experience it that way. So if all of time already exists, why do we feel like it's moving forward? This brings us to the concept of the arrow of time. The term was coined by physicist Arthur Eddington in the 1920s. He noticed something curious. While the laws of physics work the same forwards and backwards, our actual experience of life doesn't. Think about it. You can reverse a video of billiard, balls colliding, and it looks normal. But you can't unbreak an egg. You can't unburn a piece of paper. You can't unscramble breakfast. That's the arrow, the direction of time we all seem to follow, from past to future. But why does this arrow exist? The answer may lie in a concept called entropy. Entropy is a measure of disorder. In simple terms, the second law of thermodynamics says that entropy tends to increase over time. Systems naturally move from order to disorder. A hot cup of coffee cools down. A clean room gets messy. Ice melts. Heat spreads out. The universe itself expands and its entropy increases. This tendency for disorder to grow gives time a direction. It creates a sense of before and after, and that may be why time feels like it flows forward. In a low-entropy universe, things happen in an orderly way. But if entropy ever reversed, would time reverse too? Let's explore a thought experiment. Imagine a universe where entropy decreases instead of increases. Would people remember the future instead of the past? Would you grow younger? Would causes follow effects in reverse? Some physicists believe that at the Big Bang, the universe started in an extremely low entropy state. That gave time a clear direction. Forward. But if the universe ever collapsed into a big crunch, entropy might run in reverse. Would time do the same? Or would our minds no longer exist to even ask? No one knows for sure. This leads to a deeper question. Is time even real, or is it an illusion? Some modern physicists argue that time is not fundamental. Carlo Rovelli, a theoretical physicist, suggests that time emerges from more basic timeless laws. In other words, time isn't something built into the fabric of the universe. It's something that arises when particles interact in complex ways. Quantum physics backs this up. On very small scales, time becomes blurry. Particles don't behave like objects moving through time. Instead, they exist in clouds of probability. Add to this Einstein's theory of relativity, which shows that time is not absolute. Time moves differently depending on your speed and gravity. The faster you move, the slower your time runs. The stronger the gravity, the slower the clock ticks. So what's real? The ticking of your watch? Or the timeless equations that describe the universe? Maybe time doesn't flow. Maybe the universe is just a four-dimensional block with all moments existing at once. Maybe we only perceive flow because of how we're wired. That brings us to the next question. Why does time feel like it moves forward? The answer may be psychological. Our brains remember the past, not the future. That's how memory works. It creates a story, a timeline, And our minds follow that story, one chapter at a time. That's called the psychological arrow of time. It's not physical. It's how we process the world. So even if time doesn't really flow, our consciousness moves forward. We experience cause and effect, action and reaction. It gives our lives meaning, structure, and direction. Maybe that's why time matters so much. Not because it flows, but because it allows us to grow, to change, to learn. So why does time move forward? Maybe because entropy increases. Maybe because our brains are built to remember the past. Maybe because the laws of the universe simply give rise to that feeling. Or maybe time doesn't move at all. Maybe we do. Whatever the case, time remains one of the deepest mysteries we face. We live inside it. We age within it. And yet, we don't fully understand it. But perhaps that's what makes time so beautiful. Not in knowing what it is, but in learning how to live through it.